Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Just a couple more days till the Eagles and Cowboys clash on Sunday in the afternoon. Very excited about it, and definitely a lot to talk about here regarding this matchup and really just the rest of the season down the road. We have some interesting news on the roster for the Philadelphia Eagles, and can Sean Desai, can really this team regarding the defense, can they win a Super Bowl with this defense? Can Sean Desai do what Jonathan Gannon couldn't, and a lot to discuss there. So let's get into it.
You better do it. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope it's having a fantastic day today. Hope everyone's going to be enjoying their weekend, and obviously a big matchup within the NFC East this weekend on Sunday. And it's a big game. It's obviously Eagles Cowboys, big division rival, and fans are fans are talking up on both sides, and I want to get this thing done and over with on Sunday. I'm just ready to watch this game. I'm very excited. But really to go into this week of practice with the Eagles and maybe some changes that are going to be made. I mean, we talked, we've seen some new news on Tyler Steen this week, which is interesting. Now, he got a lot of first team reps, at right guard. Now, Opeta is fully healthy here, okay? So to put Tyler Steen in is meaning that maybe he's caught up enough, because I feel like Tyler Steen probably could have started in front of Opeta since Cam Jurgens has been out, but just hasn't had enough time and enough work with the team and the first team in general. And obviously, this is a futuristic type thing now, because here's what I have to really kind of think about. Cam Jurgens they have to really start working Cam Jurgens at center this year. You know what I mean? Like, as much as we need him back at right guard, and he's healthy this week. He's had some light practices this week. Maybe they're just saying, you know what? We feel more comfortable with Tyler Steen being in there. Obviously, Tyler Steen needs more work at right guard because he is the future right guard at this point. And maybe they have an answer for Jason Kelce. Maybe Kelce has announced his retirement behind the scenes, non-official to the front office. And maybe Cam is getting a lot of work at center, because at the end of the day, by the end of this year, like, if Cam is playing too much right guard and not getting enough work at center, and I understand you have these off seasons for that, between OTAs and training camp and all that great stuff, so he could get a lot of work in there. But you want to have perfection. You don't want him to want Cam Jurgens to not play that position for a long time, then kind of having to kind of learn all over again. These guys, kind of know the position well, so I'm not really worried about it. But it's definitely something to think about. Now, does this mean Cam Jurgens is not returning the rest of the year? I think part of it is just, I think Cam will return after the bye week. It could be that, or they just like Tyler Steen a lot better. I mean, what you're missing from, like, when Opeta is in to when you have Cam Jurgens in, as is just the athletic ability. They don't really pull too much on pull plays with the guards, especially on the right side with Opeta. He's just not as athletic as Cam Jurgens. And with Jeff Stoutland being the offensive line coach, Tyler Steen has just been, you can't even complain about it. You know what I mean? Any decision that Jeff Stoutland makes, I don't really question it, because everything has pretty much been a stellar performance of even if we had injuries on the offensive line, they had to move guys around. But I think strictly, they know they have a bye week next week. They're like, they want Cam. Maybe Cam isn't 100. Maybe he could. It's just one of those games where they could play him and he's perfectly fine, but they want to be more conservative, and not that's going to hurt the offense at all. I don't think it's going to hurt the offense with the offensive line to have Tyler Steen in there, but this is the perfect week where Tyler Steen can get more work. He came in for Opeta on the second half of the Washington game, and then Opeta came in later on. So I think there's a few things. This regards the moment of this year and regards the future of Jason Kelce retiring after this year. I honestly think if the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, Kelce definitely 100% probably would have retired. I would probably think so. But, we're going to have to figure this out, knowing that, life without Jason Kelce is going to be very different and very emotional. So, Tyler Steen, it looks like he might be the starting right guard this week, getting a ton of reps, sitting Cam Jurgens, and, see what they do after the bye week, which should be interesting. Like I said, Cam needs to start focusing on center. If they have the answer for Kelsey's retirement, it's already have happened, but not officially announced, then changes are going to have to get made. So that is the news on Tyler Steen for the week. Now, going into the Cowboys game on Sunday, and it's just like, realistically, I got to be realistic, and this is all I am, realistic every single week, okay? Every quarterback licks their chops over the Eagles defense. Every quarterback does. Every quarterback is probably so excited because statistically they can look great to get another contract. I mean, I'm not even kidding. Okay, what they let Sam Howell do last week was just not fair. Giving respect to too many quarterbacks. This is an NFC East matchup. There's another NFC East matchup. Okay, and you got to be very careful in this matchup because it's not that I think that the offense for Dak has a lot of talent, and I know they have talent with CeeDee Lamb. They're going to be moving him all over the field. They have a couple small running backs, but the run game isn't, I would say great, especially against the Eagles. I don't think it's going to be fantastic. Getting CeeDee Lamb heavily involved, which, there was a time, a few weeks ago, they weren't really involving him too much. Is it because CeeDee Lamb's not getting open, or is it because, they're not really putting too many plays into CeeDee Lamb's hands when it comes to the playbook? You know what I mean? So you always have to watch out. And obviously, Brandon Cooks is a speedster. It's not much of a focal point year for Brandon Cooks, but could still do damage to you regardless. You know what I mean? Even Noah Brown, some of these other guys that they have offensively, their offensive line, they might be missing Tyron Smith and maybe their backup left tackle, but they're still going to have, they're still going to be somewhat strong in front, and the Eagles have to take advantage of what their weaknesses are here and getting pressure on Dak. Defensive line is really not what I'm worried about. I mean, this defense is naturally going to give up yards. Simple as that. I mean, the statistics, like the Eagles have given up yardage-wise, I think it's like 26th, 27th in the league. I mean, it's pretty bad. And they've given up big plays, big chunk yard plays when they play zone, and I can't stand it. A big part of this problem is this secondary, and I think James Bradberery has probably played a pretty bad year. I don't think Bradbery's played fantastic. I don't think he's played that, I don't think he's played, like I said, I think he's played good. I don't think he's played that bad, but I think it's been probably the worst year of James Bradbery so far. You know what I mean? I understand the scheme is going to limit you from, look, if it's up to me, I'm not playing press every single time, but damn, if you're going to play press, if Sean decides to move those corners up, they got to get hands on. For a second, push once. I mean, you push for a split second, it guarantees you that safety help, and at least it helps you as a cornerback to slow that receiver or tight end down off their route. Okay, so I'm expecting Sidney Brown to be in more of the nickel packages, Eli Ricks to be in more of the man-to-man packages where, it's going to be interesting to see what Eli Ricks does in man-to-man if they move CD to the inside at times. This shit where Slay will line up 8 to 10 yards off the ball and let the guy run right by him and start pointing to another player that he has to go get him. I don't know what communication that is or how you have time to communicate as a guy is passing you to let the other guy know in the back end that you got to cover him is the most asinine thing I've ever seen. Okay? And I'm not on the field. I'm not playing football. I mean, easier said than done. I perfectly get it. I get it. Okay? But the secondary is looking a lot worse by the scheme, but some of the players are not playing up to par because they're just Bradbery's a bigger corner that needs to be more physical. Slay has pissed me off multiple times this year. Both outside corners have not been up to par, but like I said, I have to take the scheme over, okay, and say that the scheme is definitely hurting them, but their play is hurting them even more. Okay. Slay is looking old at times, not saying he's got nothing left in the tank or anything, but it's just not looking, I don't know, not looking up to par, and it's annoying. Like the defensive line, I have no issue with, but how do you garner a pass rush with when you play so much off ball? Like Dak is going to get his numbers in this game. Every quarterback is going to get their numbers. It's just, as much as you're going to say the Eagles are going to dominate the Cowboys, they're not going to fully dominate the Cowboys because the Eagles, look, think of it like this. Even with Jalen Hurts being a quarterback here, it's when we're tied or, behind, Hurts has way better, specific his stats are way different than when he is ahead in games. Because I think a part of it, when the Eagles are ahead in games, the Eagles play too conservative on defense. And that's the moral of the story, because we dealt with that shit last year. Last year we dealt with the same thing. But Desai has made better adjustments than Jonathan Gannon has. Simple as that. I get it. So pick your poison with, what you could say good or bad about this team. But for me, the secondary and how Desai uses them on top of their bad play is not helping. And I don't want Dak to throw for 400 yards, okay, and with 3 touchdowns, because them coming back into a game, or the Eagles take a nice lead and Desai starts to just keep everything underneath. And that's fine. I'm not saying you got to play press every time. But the open field tackling has been horrific. It's been horrific. It's been horrific. The defensive line has been the shiniest part. If you didn't have that defensive line, forget it. If you didn't have the look, and look, at this point, like, I don't know why corners are getting paid when you're not even using them to really cover. You're using them to mirror, not even cover, just mirror them. And it annoys the shit out of me. And it's like, so the inconsistencies are kind of nuts, because, like, you go against a track star offense with the Miami Dolphins, and you, like, do a fantastic job holding Tyreek Hill to 88 yards and do a fantastic job, like, containing. Like, if Tyreek Hill gets the ball in open space, contain, wait till some teammates get there, and then start making tackles. Do not let him run by you. Then you go into this Washington game, the second Washington game. Not only the first game you made Sam Howell look great, but the second game, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, you're facing less of the best. You faced a worse offense. Not still a good offense against Washington. It's still a good offense, but they treated them like they were facing 5 Tyreek Hills in the offense. Like, it sounds stupid, but it really is. I'm gonna play press and then just mirror and move back and run away as fast as possible. Like, I mean, you're trying to disguise a cover. Is that really disguising a coverage? Like, is that supposed to trick a team? I mean, you've done it so many times this year, it's not really even being creative anymore. Like, if you're playing press to make it look like you're playing press, but you're really not, but you're sacrificing these guys getting beat over the top because your corners are not getting physical, or getting a push off on these guys off the line that are getting free releases every single play. So that's all I really got to say about it. It's annoying. Like, Dak is going to get his numbers. It's going to happen, because this is what this defense does. The offense, I have really no issue with it. I don't really have an issue with the offense at all. I know we'll get points up. I know, A.J. Brown and Deron Bland. I want to see what happens where Deron Bland is going to line up, and Gilmore. I think Deron Bland will be on Devontae Smith most likely. I think we have too much firepower for the defense. I don't care where Micah Parsons is. They have to run the football towards his side every single time. There's enough tape out there to say that if you run away from Parsons and let Micah Parsons have free reign, then, you're going to have a problem. But Lane Johnson, this is like the first time, because last year against the Cowboys 2 times, since the Eagles beat the Cowboys back up, the Cowboys beat the Eagles back up, Lane Johnson wasn't even 100% healthy, or even played in half of both of these games last year. Having Lane Johnson at 100% health is going to be interesting for this game, even with Lawrence on the edge, and Micah Parsons hasn't done nothing against him at all. I have no issue offensively, to run with DeAndre Swift, get the run game going, and stop using Kenneth damn Gainwell. A lot of people in my comment section have been on my side about this, and some have been like, dude, you need to stop talking about him, man. There's just guys that just, I don't know. And I don't mind opinions at all. Like, I have no issue with other people's opinions, but I think how I think, and that's really it in regards to this team. The defensive line is got to get after Dak Prescott, Jalen Carter, his first game against the Dallas Cowboys, and hopefully they will remember him by the time this game is over. Okay, with Jordan Davis back, and we didn't have Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter in the second half of that damn game. So Hassan Reddick is hitting his stride. So there's a lot of good things to take out of it. Josh Sweat playing good. Brandon Graham getting his pressure. So, I mean, besides Derek Barnett, hopefully Nolan Smith is getting more snaps. I'm interested to see what they're doing there. The Kadavia Street trade was interesting, because I feel like that was the plan, to at least get a draft pick back for the Kevin Byard trade. And obviously, getting more out of your defensive end group with Nolan Smith is probably the most important thing. Giving him more reps. He's got 9% rotational snaps this year. It's not enough. You got to put that number up to fucking 18, 20, or at least he should be the one that has 20%, 23% of rotational snaps, not Derek Barnett. So offense, I shouldn't have a problem. I really shouldn't. When you're in the week 9, there's a lot of tape on the Cowboys and a lot of different things you could do with your offense. And AJ Brown, could he get his 7th 125 plus yard game? We'll find out. Even if he doesn't, the Eagles do win the game. And if Devontae Smith has a better game instead, I'm not going to complain about it. Get Dallas Goedert involved. And like I said 3 times in this video already, get the run game going with DeAndre Swift. And that's all I got to say, really about that and the game in general. And the secondary is just what we have to take it as is. Like it's always going to look like this. Like quarterbacks are going to look good every single week. Maybe if they don't make them look as good, and it's so, they'll look good, but not as good where you make them look like Joe Montana, it's going to be, a different story. But Dak will get his yards, when the Eagles play in zone. It's just going to happen. So that's like my little rant on that whole entire situation. So other than that, guys, pretty much it. If you guys like the video, definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel. We cover the Eagles every single day. I'm getting ready. We got a couple more days, and we're ready to go. So, guys, have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes it up, follow, so peace out, guys. Peace.